So in the pre-application stage, you're developing your research idea. Basically, you are writing a research proposal or a project proposal. Okay? And we'll talk about how the project proposal might differ a little bit from the research proposal with some similarity. Okay? So you're writing a preliminary research or project proposal. You are researching donors. Again, I'm going to connect with some of the previous presentations. You have to know your audience. Thank you. You have to be clear about the rhetorical situation. The rhetorical situation means that I need to be aware of the context within which I'm working. Okay? What are the interests of my reader? Who are these people who are going to read my application? Okay? So I need to know their mission. I need to know the scope of what they are sponsoring. Okay? I need to know, well, how many, applications and the size of spending that they give. All right? So I need to know my audience. I need to know the context. Am I applying at a time that is uncertain? Am I applying at a time when there is devaluation of the pound? Okay? Am I applying at a time when there is considerable wealth and the economy is doing well? Okay, so I need to understand my context, my audience, and I need to be very clear about my purpose. So I do my research to find out the donors, their mission, the type of projects they fund, okay, the size of their funding. Do they require partners? Let me give you a bit of examples here. So I might know that a particular organization funds a lot of development projects. Okay? And I have a brilliant idea for improving middle school education in Al-Aqalim. Okay? So I decide, hey, I'm going to apply to this donor. Have I done my research well? What kinds of development projects does this donor fund? Maybe they only fund agriculture. Maybe they only fund water resources projects. Development is a wide term. So I need to do my research. What kinds of projects do they fund? What size? If I need $2,000 and I apply to a donor whose size of spending is in the millions, so they fund projects that cost something like $1.5 million, $2 million, and then they get this application that's asking for £250. Then I have not done my homework. Okay, I need to know the size of the projects they sponsor, the types of projects that they sponsor, the location. Sometimes I want to apply and I discover that it's not open for citizens of the Middle East. It's only open for citizens of the US or Australia or whatever. I need to know. Okay? Same thing if you're applying for scholarships. You open the university website and they have 20 different scholarships. Okay? And you say, okay, I'll apply to this one. But if you read carefully, you discover that it is only open for EU students, European Union students. Okay? Or that it only sponsors people, it only provides the scholarship if you are going to be in residence at the university. You're going to travel and you're going to stay there. But you are looking for a scholarship where you can do your degree online. Then it doesn't work for you. So you have to know. Therefore, you have to do, in the pre-application stage, you have to do all of this research and preparation. You need to check the deadlines. Okay? And again, my colleagues here were saying, you can't come immediately before a deadline and begin compiling all of your information. It's not going to work. El computer هيهنج, okay, at the worst possible time. النور هيتقطع. Okay, you will find that you have material but you can't locate it. Okay, or you need to have developed this material from the beginning, or you needed certain signatures. Okay, so you need to do the homework. You need to look at the review criteria. What are they going to be, how are they going to be reviewing your proposal? Okay? What are they looking for? So you need to pitch the way you write your proposal to the particular review criteria that you know is going to be used. Okay? And if you have any questions, remember, if you start early and you have questions, what do? It's a partnership. You pick up the phone and you call, or you send an email. Okay? I'm sorry?
You're not always responsive.
Many times they are. And you establish a relationship. You begin to talk, you ask, okay? You send an email. Many times if you have a good question, and it's not a question whose answer is already available on the website. No, you've done your homework, and your question is not answered on the website. You send in that question, then you help them understand who the audience out there is and what their questions are. Probably they will add your question to the website as frequently asked questions. Okay, so establish a relationship. In the application stage, you are actually writing up the grant proposal. You are composing the proposal. And we're going to, the next slide, inshallah, is the different components of the grant proposal. But some of it is quite similar to a research proposal, because you need to know the background, the state of knowledge on something, okay, what the problem is, how will you define it, where will it go, okay? So composing the grant proposal in line with donor requirements, okay? So anything I share today is just some of the components of a proposal that may appear and may be requested on the grant proposal. Some grant proposals are 1,000 words. Some grant proposals are 1,000 pages. If you're applying to the European Union for a huge grant in the millions, okay, you will probably have to compile stacks and stacks of information, okay, that is, it may take months to prepare. If you are applying to sponsor an art project, for example, you may find that their requirements are not as technical and not as specific. So different grant proposals will have different requirements. Okay? But mostly they are a simple kind of, when you think of a grant proposal, think of it as there is a problem and I'm developing a solution for it, and this solution will need support to address this problem. So a grant proposal is actually a problem solution paper. You've identified the problem and you are addressing it, or you've identified the gap and you've got something to offer, or you've identified an opportunity. There's a huge opportunity here that we're not investing in, and I have this wonderful project that would invest in this opportunity. Or you've identified a need. Okay, so there's a need for sewage management systems in Edoué. There's a need for it, okay? And I'm going to address this need through this technical project that I've developed, through this innovation that I've developed. So, however different the components of a grant proposal are, okay, the baseline is the same. You're addressing something through a project that you are putting forward. Okay? Usually it's a problem solution kind of thing. All right? So, in the post-application stage, you're still refining your idea for your own purposes, but you've submitted it. You're building you're becoming an expert in your field while you're waiting for a response. You don't just submit, you click the submit button, and then if they respond in 6 months, you're kind of behind. Okay? No, you need to continue being well read in the literature, and you're still working as a researcher. Okay. And there is a possibility for some organizations to track your submission, to track your application. So you open the website, you have a submission number or an application number, and you're able to see where it is. You're tracking it. Okay? So it has passed, for example, the initial eligibility stage to see whether you're eligible to apply or not. Okay? Maybe it's passed that test, and now it's in the reviewer stage. Okay, so you can see sometimes through tracking. Now, if you are awarded and you receive the grant, and we said the PI signs the contract, and then now you are in the post-award stage. So now you have responsibilities. And what are the responsibilities? You understand the contract. You understand your role. You understand what is expected of you. You fulfill the requirements of the contract, okay? And here is an obligation in the contract or in the grant seeking and grant writing process that is not in the fundraising process. You are always required to submit a report to tell your partner, okay, who is your partner, so you're both interested in the same goal, to tell them whereabouts are you in the process. So sometimes there's a process report, and then after having spent the grant within the period allowed, you send a final report. Okay, so you always, if you don't, what happens? Yeah, if you don't, then you have not fulfilled your obligations, and you probably will not be able to find other grants through that organization. You're out, you're blacklisted.